This is the Transforming Anxiety Podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 222. Oh, really? Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Well, hey there. Welcome in. How's everything going today, this week, this month? Last time I think I talked with you, my older son was gone. He's back. Now my younger son is gone. We're like a revolving door around here. Kids traveling. I'm just kind of holding down the fort. It's been a good summer so far. I can't believe we're underway. For us, we're unlocking high school and middle school next year. So we're kind of enjoying this sweet spot this summer, these few weeks really before things get busy again with the school year, but also it just feels like the stakes are getting higher with each of them each year. I know some of you are experiencing that as well as kids get into secondary education and college and then out into the real world. It just, parenting changes. So, all right. Today, I want to introduce the power of 2 simple words and how this can change conversations, how this can change relationships, and honestly, how this can really change your experience of the world. This is so simple, but it's really powerful. And it's by saying, "Oh, really?" Like these 2 little words. This opens things up. This forces you to slow down. It forces you to consider another perspective, another opinion, another idea. It also helps you to look at the people around you and go, oh, there's another way of thinking about this. There's another way of going about this. Oh, really? This is powerful. Now, I'm betting you've noticed we're living in a wildly divisive time, right? Things are pretty combative out there, and people seem to be completely entrenched in their ideas, their stories, their opinions. And as adults, we've edged our way out of meeting the world with curiosity and wonder, right? Children do this nonstop. If you hang out with a preschooler for like an hour, you'll totally see this. They approach everything they see with sheer awe. We adults, we approach it all with a been there, done that mindset. Like we think we know everything there is to know, right? Like we think we have all the info. Like we think we could possibly know enough about anything to have like a really definitive opinion about it. So what I want to suggest today is that instead of assuming that we're right, that we know, that what we think and that what we believe is the end-all be-all, that we could, at least sometimes, at least a little, we could open ourselves up to an "oh, really?" mindset and get curious. Because here's the bugger. People like to be right. I'm betting you've noticed that too. How much we love to be right. I told you so. Right? See? What did I tell ya? I knew it. We say things like this all the time. We love to be right. And I want to start by asking a simple question as we consider this approach, this "oh, really?" Like being able to respond, being able to converse with an "oh, really?" mindset. Why do you want to be right all the time? Really think about this. Like, so what if you're right? So what if you're wrong? What is the big deal about being right? Some of you can spend some time here. I mean, let's be honest, probably all of us can do some digging into this. What does being right mean to you? Do you grab onto it? Do you like to be right? Do you like to be right at home? Do you like to be right at work? In your relationships? In certain relationships? Is this everywhere? Like, just curious. Just get curious about that to start. What do you make it mean? What does being right mean to you? All right, Mark Manson wrote this. This is in his book, The Simple Art of Not Giving an F. Right? Okay, he said this. People who base their self-worth on being right about everything prevent themselves from learning from their mistakes. They lack the ability to take on new perspectives and empathize with others. They close themselves off to new and important information. It's far more helpful to assume that you're ignorant and don't know a whole lot. This keeps you unattached to superstitious or poorly informed beliefs and promotes a constant state of learning and growth. So, maybe you found an answer to the whole "what does being right mean to you?" question that I just asked, and maybe you didn't. But for a lot of us, it boils down to this. It's caught up in our self-worth. We tie our value in the world to being right. And you could lump a whole bunch of things under the being right label, like being a good parent, partner, friend, family member, neighbor, employee, employer, cat owner, yogi, reader, gardener, cook, you name it, right? Because if you're right and you're doing it right, then what? You're worth more? You have more self-worth? You have more value in the world? Just check in. Just see if this resonates. Because this is the sneaky underbelly of all of this "I gotta be right" for a lot of us. We mistakenly believe that we're more worthy the more right we are, or the more often we're right. But I really like what Manson says here, what he reminds us of, which is a willingness to be wrong, or at least a willingness to listen and learn and expand and grow, means that you can take on new perspectives and empathize more deeply. You can open yourself up to new and important information. And this is good. It's far more helpful to assume that you're ignorant and don't know a whole lot. This keeps you unattached to superstitious or poorly informed beliefs and promotes a constant state of learning and growth. Oh my goodness, yes. I'd so much rather assume I don't know and learn something, even one little nugget of new information. I'd so much rather that than walking around believing I know it all and missing those little pieces throughout my life. Like, imagine how those add up over days and weeks and years. What if you asked, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." "Oh, really? You think about it differently, huh? Tell me more." "Oh, really? You have a different angle on that? Lay it on me." Like, I love this approach. Tom Walsh, he wrote this. "This need to be right has put a huge burden on me, one that I never deserved to have to carry. Part of it I know is cultural. In this age of information at a moment's notice, we've come to expect people to have answers, the right answers, at the drop of a hat. I feel very fortunate that over the last decade or so, I've been able to leave the need to be right behind me and move on with my life with a more healthy perspective. I'm now willing not just to admit that I'm wrong, but also to stick my neck out with ideas or thoughts that may be wrong. The possibility of being wrong no longer threatens my emotional well-being. If I'm wrong, and I learn from that." Okay, what if this were true? What if being wrong didn't threaten your emotional well-being? What if you were wrong about something and you could simply say, oh, well, you could learn, you could grow and expand, and you could just move on. Now remember, years ago, remember this, as a society, we would label politicians who changed their minds. We called them flip-floppers. I don't feel like I hear this as much anymore, but we used to say this all the time. And we would say it in a bad way, right? Like people should never change their minds. Like once people say something or once they think something, that's it. Folks, that's dumb, right? God, I hope I'm not held to everything that I have ever said. That would be so sad. When you know better, you do better, right? And the idea around here is that we're always, always, always looking to understand and grow in awareness and compassion and perspective, that we learn and shift and flip-flop. Man, I hope that's what we want, that that's what we allow in the people around us, that we look for people to change if and when they want to. That's okay. It's healthy and normal, and sometimes not easy, and sometimes it's super hard, but it's not a bad thing. You don't have to be right out of the gate. You can try something and fail. You can try again and fail again. You can keep learning and you can keep making changes. You can try something and love it and succeed at it, and then simply change your mind and do something else. You can know and believe something and have that be wonderfully, quote unquote, right for one season of your life, and then do a 180 and know and believe something totally different and have that thing that would have been wrong before, by the way, but be right for that season of your life. Or you can do something that's kind of wrong and see how it feels and keep trying to find what's better and more suited and more right for you. You can have something be right for you that's totally wrong for someone else, and vice versa. Like, you get what I'm saying here? There's so much fluidity in this. Things are so movable, so adaptable. Right versus wrong becomes a whole tangled mess of in between if we get really honest. And asking something like, oh really? This can open you up to something new, something different, maybe something that's more you. All right, Albert Bernstein wrote this. He said, life offers a cruel choice. You can be right or happy, not both. I don't even know if this is completely true, but I like the confidence in it. You can't have it both ways. So you need to make a proactive choice and get intentional about your happiness, or said another way, maybe your emotional health. And then you can know what you're up to. That you're up for being right if it happens, sure, okay. But you're way more interested in committing yourself to your happiness. And if that means being wrong, so be it. Right? You with me? Another similar idea is the one about you can be right or you can be kind. Yep. We place a lot of value on being right, which fits with what our society values, right? Our culture glorifies things like success and power and more and pushing and powering through, and being right fits in with all of that. Being kind, being happy, being self-compassionate. Like, these aren't things our society is teaching us to value, not in a real way. It's our job to go against the grain this way, to get intentional, to live our lives proactively in a way that feels good to us. Oh, really? Like, I love this. I love this mindset. Let's talk about what this can do in conversations for a moment. Just responding with, oh, really? Let's just play out a couple of examples here. I remember this guy in college. He was such an authority on everything, right? No matter what story was being told, he knew about it. He knew more. He was an expert, and he could always one up everything. It was almost torture to be in conversation with this guy because it just didn't matter what you were talking about. This guy knew more. He always knew better. He could always outdo it all. It was infuriating. And I think about watching him interact with people and how he would shut people down. He would just kill the energy of a story or of a whole person sometimes. There they'd be all excited. They'd be sharing something and he'd start in with an, oh yeah, and then like off he went, right? And I wonder about him. I wonder about this guy, where he's at and what he's doing, how he's doing now. But also, I wonder in this parallel fantasy world, what if he'd replaced that, oh yeah? Because it was always like, oh yeah, you think that's bad? Oh yeah, you think that's good? Whatever, right? If he'd replaced that with an, oh really? And opened up to people that way. What if he let them talk? What if he got curious about their experiences? What if he remembered for 5 minutes that he didn't know everything and just listened and observed instead of jumping in to speak? Like, I wonder what his relationships would look like, how they would be different. If he'd actually feel more confident and more loved and just better overall because he'd be showing up in a way that he could connect instead of just shutting everyone down. He was like, okay, you know that Harry Potter spell Lumos where you can make light? This also works on your iPhone, by the way. If you say Lumos to Siri, she'll turn on your flashlight. Did you know that? Okay, the opposite spell is Nox, N-O-X. It turns lights off. We didn't know we were going to talk about Harry Potter spells today, did we? Siri knows this one too, by the way. Some random trivia for you. You do this with your kids, they'll think you're a damn wizard with your iPhone, I swear. Anyway, this guy was like that. He was Nox, right? He was just turning everyone's light out by being such a one-upper and damn authority on everything. But if he could have said, oh, really? Even every once in a while, it would have been like Lumos, right? Oh, really? This is really helpful too when it's not your turn to talk. Similarly, when someone has had an experience and they're looking to share it, they're wanting to talk and connect by sharing something that they've gone through, it's their turn, right? Not yours. You get to ask questions like, oh, really? And they get to talk. And hopefully, right, in an ideal situation, that'll be the case when it's your turn to tell a story, when it's your turn to talk. You'll have eager faces looking to you asking, oh, really? Now, another place to do this is with kids. It opens them up. For the most part, kids are looking to connect with the people around them, and they're fascinated by the world, by what they're learning, by what they're putting together, by what they're starting to understand. And when you ask them, oh, really? You give them a place to play, right? You give them a place to explore with you. Sometimes we adults are quick to correct them or to explain it all or tell them what we think instead of getting curious about what they think first. Like asking them questions, letting them talk through it, waiting to hear how they see it and think about it. Their context for the world is so different than ours. They have different questions, they have different wants, different needs. It's just so helpful for everyone if we can make room for them to talk and to question and connect instead of just dictating to them every little thing that comes up. Oh, really? Like, ask that. See where it takes you. All right. In closing, this is a good way to wrap things up for today. This is a really expansive way, I guess, to wrap things up. This is from Paula Heller Garland. She wrote this. Often, after arguing about differing opinions, I hear people say, let's agree to disagree. I look forward to a time so open-minded, I'll hear people say, I'm right, and you can be too. Ooh, yes, right? This is so good. I'm right, and you can be too. Like, let's be honest. I kind of love the passive aggression in let's agree to disagree. Because you know what we're saying, right? When we say that, we're saying, I'm right, but okay, I'll let you think you're right if you want. You're so cute. Right? It's like patronizing, isn't it? Agree to disagree. There's a whole other vibe when we say, I'm right, and you can be too. Like, imagine saying that, but also imagine feeling that, right? Kind of a leap, if we're honest. I'm right, and you can be too. So ask more oh reallys. Challenge how important being right is in your life. Where's it coming from? What does it mean to you? Watch how many times you bump up against that this coming week and just get aware, not judgmental. Just stay open and aware with it. Oh, there it is again, and again, and again, right? Just notice it. See what's going on there. Be kind to yourself, but be curious. Get willing to dig in. This is the work, right? Can I challenge myself in these ways and be sweet about it? Yeah. All right. I will be back next week with more Transforming Anxiety. Please don't forget to rate and review the show if you haven't already. And I will see you again soon. Until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.